Hi everyone, welcome. And let me tell you, it's with a huge pleasure that I present you my guest. He is the co-founder of Extreme Outdoor, the owner of Labyrinth Club, and the agent of Amelie Lenz and many other talented artists. Ugur Akkus, a legend from the industry. We are going to talk about COVID. How is the world of electronic dance music? What do you need to be successful? And how is going to be our future? Get ready and enjoy. Hi everyone, my name is Rocky Valente. I am here with an electronic dance legend, one of the brains behind of the big success. Ugur, it's such a pleasure for me to have you here. I'm super excited, and I see that you have beautiful weather. So I hope you enjoy this little time with me, because I know you. I know who you are, and I follow you for so long, and I have so many questions. But the first one is, you are not from Belgium, so you are born in Eindhoven, right? Tell me, start your story. Share with me.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Eindhoven. I have Turkish roots. My parents are both Turkish. They are from the first generation workers came to Holland to work. And yeah, so I raised up in Eindhoven until I was 30 years old, and then I moved to Antwerp. And this was because back then we had a curfew for clubs. I was organizing events back then, very small, like for a few hundred people. But in Eindhoven and mostly in all Holland back then, it was a curfew of 4 a.m., which was a pain in the ass at the end because, yeah, people were arriving the club around 1:30, and then we had to close the club at 4, full of people not finished partying. And this was really, really frustrating because at the end, you want everyone to party as long as they want, and also for us as a financial, it was more interesting to keep it open if people want to continue partying. And what we did back then was, like, when we closed our venue, Antwerp was just a 40-minute drive for us. We all went with our friends and our regular clients to go out in Antwerp after that till 9, 10 in the morning. And after a few years, I was thinking, man, I'm going every week to going out in Antwerp after my own club. Maybe it's better if I just move to Antwerp and continue my business over there with no curfew and maybe a better business. I did that, and it was for me the best decision in my life. Actually, like, everything changed after I moved to Antwerp.
What do you think it's I grew up so I was born in Lisbon. I grew up in Africa and in south of so Portugal. We never had contact with electronic dance music until very late. We had some movement on the 90s, but nothing. What do you think is on the water of Belgium? I would say in special underground, more Belgium and the Netherlands than you guys for so long have this culture of electronic dance music.
I think first of all is we discovered electronic music in a very early stage. I'm speaking about 87, 88. We had, like, really famous clubs in Belgium who accidentally discovered a new way of music by playing a track, a normal disco track, on a different way or slower, which sounded much cooler. And then you had a lot of producers starting to produce, like, back then they called it weird music, but it was certainly very, very popular. And I think the success of what we have now in Belgium is all based on a proper musical education of the people. What I discovered when I moved to Belgium, this is unlike Holland back then, is because as a promoter we got like a little bit of popular,
Mm-hmm. A
and
little
back
bit.
then there was It was no, but back then, we were
Yeah.
just starting and we
Uh-huh.
were getting a little
What
bit
year
popular.
is what in what year we are talking
I'm
when you
speaking
moved?
about 2002 now, when I
Mhm.
moved to Belgium. And back then there was not much going on in Belgium, like international acts or whatever. The clubs were running very, very well. But if you wanted to see like your favorite artist, maybe you could see them like once a year or maybe twice a year if you're lucky.
Mhm.
But you have to travel for it, not in every city. But first we started with well-known names. But the moment you get popular, I tried a lot of upcoming names, because my strategy back then was like, hey, if I want to go into this business, maybe it's not very good that I booked already the well-known names. Maybe I have to invest in unknown names that I think these will be the future headliners. And to give you an idea, we booked Tale of Us for the first time in Belgium, outside of Italy. We were the first promoters who booked them outside of Italy, in Belgium. Solomon, same. Macioplex, like all these, the today's headliners, we booked them back then for really cheap, low money, and people were so curious back then because we did like flyers, posters, and once we announced a name, they were really digging into it. Like they were really curious. Who is this guy? What music he make? And this is what I miss these days. They only go to events if they really know the artist, and they're never attracted if they don't know the artist. But back then, it was like they trust the promoter. If they book this person, it must be good. So let's dig into it.
It's really interesting that you are telling that. I want to go back to that because I know you defend. We could expect from you, then you say, oh yeah, the big names is the people who bring, and you say that, but you say as well, then you prefer, then it was different, than to build the culture. What do you think is what change on the world or made people just go out for the big names instead of how it was before? Do you think it's the communication, the internet, the
Yeah,
way?
it's mainly social media changed everything, because I was in this process myself as a promoter, which was very hard because we had to go from physical promotion to online promotion, and it was a very hard switch for us because in the beginning we were like, oh no, we just keep putting flyers, posters, but at the end there was no other choice. You have to go with the online movement. But then online makes people lazy, because they get too much information in a split of a second. I give you a very big example is that yeah, it changed a lot back then. For example, we had resident DJs in some of my events. They played just with just one name. They played from 10 in the evening till 10 in the morning, and this was it. This was the night. But these DJs were so popular in Belgium that they went to a record store, and the record store owner, they prepared like a pack of vinyls for them because they were the popular headliner in Belgium, pre-selected what they think they will like. So the DJ was super lazy. He came to the shop, and he get this pre-selected pack of vinyls. He played it, and then he said to the record owner, "You know what? I want to take this, and this, but you cannot sell it for 8 weeks. I want to play it first 8 weeks, and then you can sell it to the other DJs in Belgium."
The exclusivity of the music.
Yeah, and then the digital era came, and then these same DJs had to find their music in between of millions of other tracks online, and then they got lost, like
Mhm.
totally lost, because there was no shop owner anymore who pre-selecting music for them, and they had to find their music like hours and hours into a forest.
Promos and new
Yeah,
releases and
and then these resident DJs, they disappeared in 2 3 years. There was no resident DJs anymore, only international. And So many things changed back then, and for us as a promoter it was really hard to adapt. But at the end, yeah, we adapt. And to come back on your question, I think, yeah, people are not really taking the time anymore to really say like, who is this DJ, who did they booked. Um, but we, as a promoter, we always stick to our point. For example, at Extrema, from day one, it's still the same now. We have I have like a way of booking my lineup. It's 50% have to be Belgium always, no matter what. The other 50% is international DJs, and from the 50% international DJs is 50% upcoming and 50% headliners. That's the way I line up my festival. But this is also what I miss on a lot of festivals. They just book the only,
The
yeah,
headliners.
every, yeah, and this is very boring in my opinion. If you like have 1 year time to build up something nice creatively, I think you should really yeah, take care of every aspect
I
of
want
your event.
I want to ask you something, but I did want to ask you this later. But since we are here, how you spot upcoming? How you? I know I believed in you at this moment in your career. You have kind of a special sensibility, but one of my influence warriors said, like, what? How a person has you with the knowledge in you? How you know it's a feeling? It's work ethic, it's music, it's presence when they DJ. What is?
It's everything together actually what you mentioned. But for me it's the most important. I listen to a lot of music while I'm working. I'm always listening to music. I always listen to sets or productions from new upcoming talents. And if I start to like something, which doesn't happen a lot lately, unfortunately, but if I really like something, then the next step is that I want to see this person DJing live. First, I listen to, for example, a production. Then I check SoundCloud for a set at home, and then I want to see this person playing live. Doesn't matter where. Like if I have to go travel to see it, I will do it. I did that many times. And once I'm convinced of the performance, also that he or she is a very
Shit.
very good DJ, also, then the next step is to maybe book this person on my festival, because I also run smaller events during the year, and this is the reason I'm doing it for my festival. I'm now 45 years old. I have two kids. I did so many nights in my life. For me, it's very hard at the moment, but I just do it for this because I still want to have the feeling of the dance floor. And if a DJ is good enough to book on our festival, and I never judge on the attendance of my event. Like sometimes I book a DJ and I lose money. It's 1,000 people club, only 250 people showing up,
Mhm.
but he's playing an amazing set, or she, with a very nice vibe in the club. This for me is a reason enough, even if he doesn't sell tickets, to book this act. For me, the performance and the atmosphere and the story this person brings is the most important thing. And yeah, so I try it out. If it works, then we book it to the festival.
It's really interesting. Then you tell about the story. Um, I want to ask you something important since we are talking about the digital, and I was going to leave this for the end. But since, do you agree then all people today need to go digital? They need to have a digital presence. When do you look to the digital presence or the Instagram or whatever of other artists, and what you, when you go, I don't think you spend too much time on the internet, or at least not too much time on social media. I don't know. But when you look to a profile, what are you looking? If you
Yeah,
look to an
first,
Instagram account of a DJ,
this is the last thing I look at. I look, of course, because it's very important these days. If yeah, you have to have the skills to also promote yourself online. If you don't have this, then it's going to be very very hard. I think there are not many successful DJs at the moment in the world who have not a successful social media platform.
Mhm.
But this is definitely not the most important thing for me.
No, I believe I
Yeah.
understand. But when you say successful for you, when you are looking to an Instagram account, and I'm just evaluating, what is a successful presence? What shines for you? Is the way, is the photos, is the image, is the way they interact, is the message?
I think
What stands out?
the original way to get in touch with your fans, to present yourself, and it's very hard to explain because it's an inventive thing that you have to make yourself like show to the world as you are, and what don't work in my opinion is a little bit of fakeness. So people are so smart these days. You can pretend to be who you are, but that doesn't work anymore. People feel directly if this is pure or this is not. I remember when social media came to the world in the beginning, the older generation DJs, they were too lazy to handle this, and
they are
hired
still they are
they
still
hired a,
struggling.
yeah, they hired a company to um, to do this for them. But if you went to their page, you feel directly it's not them posting this. It's someone else. You feel that as a and then you lose the connection with your clients or your fans,
Your
because
fans.
yeah, this is very very important that you are the one who are right. Even if it's a one sentence copy, it have to come from your heart, and whatever you are telling have to come from you, and not by a social media company. That this is impossible.
No.
uh, because we are not selling a product. If you sell Coca-Cola cans online, you can put any copy you want and put a lot of money on it, and you will sell it. But we are selling a feeling. We are selling an experience, and you can only sell an experience or a feeling if you do it from your heart and from yourself. That's super super important. I remember I got an email from the biggest agency. I won't name them, but the biggest agency in the world,
Mhm.
sending me an email asking me which company is taking care of Emily's social media. And I said,
Herself.
we have, yeah, we have no company. She's doing it herself, and they couldn't believe it. I said, why don't you believe it? It's like, okay, I know it's a lot of work, but being an international DJ is a lot of work. If you don't see this as your full time job, then you're in the wrong business.
It's
You
not
cannot
just
say like,
that, the physical part, the physical,
yes,
the touring, how I don't know, but the touring level, it's an Olympic game, right?
yes, and you have to really go for it, but you cannot say like, hey, I'm now on a certain level, and you know what? I only want to go to the studio a few hours. I want to go to my gigs, and all the rest I hire someone, and that's the part you will lose. Like the moment you will slowly lose everything, because if you run a business, no matter what business, if you have a bakery, you have to be there all night to make bread. Otherwise, you won't have clients who have fresh bread. And if you're a DJ, you have to take care of all these other things yourself because you are running a business. It's simple as that.
Huh.
Uh,
How was, tell me Amelie's story. Can you share with us? So, how you found her, or how she found you? What is your, because I know your guys' relation is long, right? It's not, I don't know what, since the beginning, then she's with you. What is the story behind?
well, Emily was when I first met Emily, she was a DJ duo with another girl, and they were playing melodic techno back then. They were very close friends, but at the end they decide to separate and have solo careers. And then she went to another project called Renee. Her name was Renee, the DJ name.
Mhm.
She did it for a very short period. I booked her a few times on my events, and I was really, really impressed about her presence and the way she was thinking, because we had a chat, and really, really interesting profile. Um, and then I started booking her for maybe 6 months, 1 year. And at the end, one colleague of mine brought it up in the office, say, hey, maybe we should really approach her and see if we can work together, because it's getting more and more interesting. She was not playing very much back then, but the moment she played, it was amazing. But she was very picky also back then. Even if she had not a lot of bookings, she only played the cool gigs. This was her point of view, which I also very liked. So yeah, we set up a meeting. Um, I think this is now 3 or 4 years ago. We had a very long chat, and yeah, it was very interesting. I directly felt in the conversation, I really have someone else on my table now, because I was running an agency for maybe 8 years back, when I first met Emily.
Mhm.
I tried so many artists, especially Belgium artists. Maybe to go back, my main business was always promoting events, and on the side, I started a business in Belgium to represent mainly Belgian artists, because there was no one in Belgium who representing them. It was more like, hey, can you play for my birthday directly? 50 euro.
Yeah.
Yeah, you cannot say no because it's your friend. There's no one in between. And every other country like Germany, Holland, they were so professional in this. There are many agencies, local managers taking care of the smaller artists. And I thought, yeah, I want to do the same, because these people also deserves a professional representation. And it was so hard in the beginning, because I worked 8 years maybe for 400 or 500 euro booking fee a month, which is like really nothing if you run a business. And thank God I had my events, so that this was not really painful. But I put so much energy in this because I really loved it, and every gig I get really like a kick from inside. To the point that my colleagues from my festival said, Ugur, if you continue with this, I think we are not will not support you anymore, because you're crazy. This you make no money at all. You put so much energy in it. Please stop it. Like it's not never gonna work. There will never be a Belgian DJ who, because my goal back then was, if I have one artist who plays twice a month for 1,000 euro abroad, outside of
Mhm.
Belgium, this was my ultimate goal for my agency.
Did you
Like,
multiply that few times?
yeah, thank God. But more than that was not my plan actually. Like my goal. But the thing is that when I sat down with Emily, the conversation was so interesting, and she knew so good what she wanted. Um, she had a full plan in her head, like where she want to go. She said also to me, it was very funny, like, you're not gonna make any money on me because I'm too picky on my gigs. Maybe I'll play once a month, and because don't send me any bullshit shows, or just if it's relevant, I play for less money. If it's not relevant, I prefer to stay home. This was the first thing I really liked, because all my other DJs back then, it was only like, I want to play, I want to play. It doesn't matter where, just put me, I want to play. Which is, if I look back, not a very good strategy. You have to be picky where you play if you want to reach something.
And
And
patient.
yes, and she was so polite and down to earth, which I also like, because I'm also very down to earth person. I don't like too much of an ego or whatever. Um, but the she was so down to earth. But at the end, in every conversation I had with a DJ who I want to sign, I always asked at the end, yeah, what do you want to reach? Or where do you see yourself in the next years? And all my previous artists I was speaking about, they said, yeah, if I play like maybe a few gigs in Europe a month, I will be super happy. It was always the same answer. And Emily, after a very polite conversation, she just answered, I want to be the biggest DJ in the world. This was for her, like there was no other option, in her head. The biggest in the world, and for me, so that was so funny because the rest of the conversation was so low and down to earth, but she had a plan in her head, like a football player. If you play
Like
football,
Ronaldo or whatever you
yeah,
prefer.
like yeah, or Messi.
Oh,
Messi.
Matthew.
I don't think Messi will say like, hey, if I play for a second league in Spain, I will be happy. He has a plan in his head. He wants to be the best in the world. And yeah,
Did it scare you or did it excite you?
no, not at all, because I like that. I like challenges, and it gives me so much energy. I was like, hey, this is maybe a chance for me to go to the next level, because I'm nothing as an agent without someone who's giving me the tools to make a big project. You can be the best agent in the world, like the very, very best agent in the world, but if your artist doesn't give you the right tools, forget about it. Then you're not a magician. It's a two-side job. It's even a one-side job, because many people ask me like, oh, you made your career. I said, this is not true. Like I did not do anything. I'm a very good negotiator. I'm a very good seller, but she did the job. She is without her it's impossible.
It was that, and I
uh,
was going to ask you. I have a lot of admiration for her, for what I know about her. I'm obvious for her work, but what I research and what I know about her, but what you think, if you can try to define in words, for me, observing her, I will say her work ethic is insane. Extra her value as an artist, that as a connector, and the story then she tells. But what she have, what are, if you could like multiply and you say you need to have these characteristics, you need to have these 4 or 5 or 3 things that make you go to the next level as an artist, as a DJ, what you think she have, then you can define, you can pick.
well, first of all, she's an amazing DJ, amazing producer, but we have a lot of amazing DJs and amazing producers. This is the basic you have to have anyway. Beside that, she's very smart. She's an amazing person, really, really nice person. Like, she's exactly the same person now as I met her in our first meeting. Like, nothing changed. And this is very, very hard when you become famous.
Becomes a superstar.
Yeah, so that's also, I think, a gift. And no one knows if they can deal with fame. Even me, you. Uh, Maybe I'm sure now, if this happens to me, I will be the same person, but I cannot guarantee, because you don't know who you're gonna be if you get famous. So that's the thing. And she has a very strong personality. She knows what she wants. She has a goal. She has a plan in her head. She can think forward, anticipate. Um so I always say, I think if you put her in any company as a CEO,
She
she will make
will.
you she will make you rich. Like, she's a workaholic. Yeah, she knows what she wants, and I think that's the most important thing. For me as an agent, it's a gift, it's a blessing, because if I have to make a tour, sometimes I confirm a tour with her because I prepare it very well, but in 2 minutes is a yes or a no. You have artists. Sometimes on my lineup of Extrema, I'm waiting for 3 months for one artist to decide if he wants to play Extrema or not. I'm like, how the fuck, sorry for my
No,
language,
you can say it.
how is this possible, you know, like why you have to train 3 months to do a show, like this is it's insane. And that's why it's like really promoters love this. That's also a benefit because on the other side, when we just started, I said to all my artists, also to Emily, like it's super important that every promoter likes you. You don't have to fake it, but you have to be a nice person. Always remember that you have the best job in the world. Someone is paying you to play music. You know, like if you think about it, sometimes I think about
It's
it,
insane.
it's
Yeah.
insane. Like someone is paying you money, is paying you a dinner, your hotel, your flight, everything to play music.
And extra comes a loads
Yeah,
of people to just see you doing that. I
exactly.
think.
And this person who pays you for, like, you have to treat him like a king because
Mhm.
this is your client. And unfortunately, if you look back in our business, it's the only business where the client is not the king. Like
Mhm.
sometimes promoters are like agents are treating promoters like shit, but it's your client. You know,
Is the one who
remember that.
pays. And what you think? You think that an artist, what is the client? Who is more powerful? Is the crowd and the fans or the promoter?
The crowd and the fans, of course.
You
The
need to
promoter,
build your crowd and your fans.
yeah,
So
the promoter is nothing. You have a few events in the world who are lineup independent, and these are really admirable because these days there are not many events anymore who are not dependent on a lineup. And I know a few events. Just if they announce something, it's packed, no matter who's playing, and this is also a very big strength as a promoter. But on the other hand, like 98%, 99%, they cannot pull an event without booking a headliner. It's impossible.
yeah.
So it became a very, very important element of our industry, um, DJing, because I remember when I used to go out in Belgium, the amount they spend now on DJs, back then they were spending on dancers, on decoration, on whatever.
Effects,
This
visuals,
was
and
yeah, this was the reason why you go to a club to have an experience, and nobody was looking to a DJ. And this all changed with international DJs, which is also very cool because I think it's nice to discover artists from other countries in your own country. It's really cool.
you you had a lot of clubs, or you had more than one club in your life, right? I will say the
Yes,
most
yes,
famous one is the Labyrinth.
yes.
You open in when 2004 12 no tell me, when did you
Yeah,
open?
I think 12. I think 12 or 13. Yeah, 2012 or 13. Yeah.
Why the Labyrinth, or why name Labyrinth? First question, I like to know the reasons of the names.
Well, labyrinth for me, it was a nice expression of when I used to go out when I was like a raver myself. I always compared my night, if I had a good night, that I arrive in a club and lost myself, you know, in one point, and next day you don't remember that much. And this is uh, like a labyrinth. You go somewhere and then you lose yourself, and then at the end you find a
Way out.
way out and go home.
That is a cool name.
Yeah.
and and so do you think it's important for your business to own a club, or at least, and we are going to talk about that, at least was important for you, for your other sides of your business, to own a club?
Very, very important. If I look back also for my agency, first of all, for my festival, like I explained before, it's super important to have a venue where you can try things. Sometimes I book a DJ in my club, even if it was sold out. I don't like the act. I won't book him on my festival. Maybe I will book him if I couldn't try it. But if you have a platform to try things, and maybe sometimes some years I didn't. At the end of the year, I didn't make money on my club, but I did make a lot of money on my festival because I had an amazing lineup for my feeling. So my club was like also to be in touch with the young kids, to talk to them, what they want, what's new, what's hot, what's not. And if you get out of this and only organize a festival once a year, on my age now, I think you will lose the connection.
You mean the calibration of the vibe that is going
Yes,
on?
yes. And it's super important to stay relevant, that you know exactly what's going on. That's why I also have a very young team on my office, all 23 till 28, who are also still going out and know what's going on. So I can go out a little bit less.
Filtered. You
Yeah,
go out just to the good thing.
but I get a lot of feedback from them, and yeah, like every year we have one chance with the festival, one weekend, and I have to be spot on. So you have to think about a lot of things and make sure that everyone has an amazing time.
You are a big raver, I understand. Do you feel to be a raver, like to be a raver before and the to go out now, it's a totally different thing. What you think it did happen with the rave scene, the underground scene on the last couple of 5 years? I'm curious to know what is your vision, because on the underground scene you have a lot of opinions about different things, and I love to know, since you are a raver for so long, how do you see it? Do you think it changed a lot and that annoys you, or do you think that raving is raving whatever it is?
Yeah, I think raving is raving anyway, but I think there's the one thing that changes is we have more people complaining about
That's
bullshit
true.
things. It's they complain about everything, while going out is such a nice thing. How can you complain about going out? It's insane. If you don't like this DJ or this club or this whatever festival, just don't go
Don't
there.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you have to complain or backlash or bash them, or what's I don't see a reason for this, like I was always laughing when I come from the techno scene, like already 25 years now, and nobody was complaining back then. Like everyone was so happy and leave each other alone, and just having a good time themselves in their favorite club. This is your favorite club. This is her favorite club. I don't care. I go to my favorite club. You go to your favorite club. But now, if you like, everyone has an opinion. It's so hard
A
to,
loud, a very loud opinion.
yeah, to satisfy everyone. It's so hard. And I was really laughing when this business techno
Business
came
techno.
on, and
Mm.
yeah, this was used by mostly by people who couldn't reach the business side of techno. It's I don't know what's wrong with this. Like you're running a business. Like I saw DJs posting this, um, who had no career and blaming other DJs playing for big festivals. But I was like, dude, I'm 100% sure if you get a request for this festival tomorrow, you will
Go.
try to go. Yeah, like it's crazy. And at the end, whatever you think about it, it's we are running a business, so you cannot hide this. Like
Yeah, after the moment then you are paid for, or you offer yourself even to go for free, like it is for me. I work with different artists, or helping them with the growing online, and I have the new fresh blood, and I have the old school people who are in the industry for 20 or more years. And we have here a part who are old school and they understand and they want to find their way because the digital presence is really important. And I have a lot of people get stuck, oh, but just my music should be enough. The rules of the game change. Like, it's not the same game. This is the same then I was playing basketball and the game did change and I need to hold my football ball to score a goal. The digital world is here. And people get very grumpy and frustrated, looking to the success of the other ones. And On the other side, I think as well, that nobody complains if you are not doing well. If
That's the
you are
thing,
not
right?
successful, you don't get complaints.
That's the thing, and I think it doesn't make sense to complain or be jealous of other one's success, because at the end, if I always looked at it at this point, if I have a club, if another club in my city gets very popular, I'm super happy, because that means that more people come to the city, and maybe I can also have a share of my cake, of the cake. And you have to think like this: if you work on your career or your profile or your business, like there is no competition. You can only blame yourself. Huh?
I agree with you.
So I have like Extrema for 11 years now. I never blocked any artist on my festival. Never. Like they can play one day before around the corner. I don't care. It's the agent who decides. If he wants to do that, go ahead. I only believe in my own strength. Like it's I am organizing Extrema, and that's it. The rest I don't care, like what they do or what they. I cannot say like, oh, there's a festival 1 week after they have 60,000 people. That's why I have so less attendance. No, that's not the reason. You think that's you find yourself a reason why you're not successful, but this is not the reason. You can only blame yourself. That's it.
Yeah, be responsible for. Then, because
Yeah,
if you feel then is your responsibility, whatever you decide, whatever you do, you are in control. If you put for the fault on the other ones, you don't have control. It's a really weird feeling. I have another question
yeah, and
for you. Tell me. Sorry.
no, it gives them satisfaction if they find the reason from themselves why things are not successful, and this is a weird approach.
And
You
then
have
they get
all
stuck there because you don't go anywhere
exactly,
if you think someone is responsible for your unsuccess.
exactly. And I had don't misunderstand me. I had many unsuccessful projects in my life, but I always blame myself and try to do it better next time. Not like, oh, it's his fault, or it was another party there, or no, it's only me. That's it.
Why do you think during the last couple of years, like, or what is your opinion, like a DJ cannot anymore be just a DJ and not a producer? The DJ skills are important or the production are more important? Because I have some people who still just want to be a DJ, but is that possible? Or why so many people mix, or what is more important, what you should be? It's a lot of questions, but what should you be, a producer first but the DJ after? um this is what my students were asking me to ask you.
I think it's both these days. Very important. A production is super important. It became super important. I still
Why?
book. I think, yeah, people are listening to this, and this is the reason a fan comes to your party, or a promoter wants to book you. This was different before. We back then we were only looking to the DJ skills. I still book, for example, I don't know if you know Hernan Cataneo,
The
uh,
name?
the
Yes, I think
Argentinian
so.
DJ. He's very famous.
I'm going to research. Yeah.
One one of the few artists. He's playing very down tempo melodic techno.
Mm-hmm.
But he's there for 25 years, playing only headline shows around the world, like 150 shows a year, only DJing. Like he has only one skill, is DJing, and he gets away with it because he's coming from another generation. But these days, I I think it's close to impossible to make a career without producing music. But I think for the new um, producers who are coming around, they think mostly that if I sign to this label or to that label, um, it's super important. Huh? But I think it's more important. Um to have a video of a big DJ playing your track
It was that, and I was going to ask you, do you think that is more powerful than have this label? Because I feel that everyone on this industry have like ideas of, oh, I need to have this kind of presence on social media. I need to release on this label because if I release on this label, this is going to happen. Or so I think I love what you are saying, because that is a question. Oh, I need to release here or there, or I think I fail. I did not put, for example, moments and big artists or playing my music. I did not put any importance, but now that you are saying that, it makes 100 times more. It's much more important if you are an artist and you are starting. It's always
of course, and this is how I see it, and I know many artists who have 10 releases on Afterlife, for example, or 5, but they never made it, or never reached a certain level that they are now. You know, there's no. But there are so many different elements that even I can't explain you how it works, but it's not only this. You're totally right that some artists think like, oh, if I sign on Inner Visions or Afterlife, then my career will. But this is not the case. This is just a small element that helps you maybe one step further. And there are so many steps to be an established artist. An established artist is, in my opinion, we are not talking about money. Yeah, it's like it's not important, but to fill your calendar the whole year. It's super hard. I experienced it also with Amelie in the beginning, especially the first year. I was super eager to get this calendar full. Now we have opposite around to.
No, now you have issues.
Yeah, but for me it was like almost a sport to get this calendar filled, you know, and it have to be.
How did you approach on beginning? Like, how, for sure you have one story of that person who said no to her and now is probably begging or something like that. For sure you have stories like that.
We have many of these stories, but thank God I was really lucky with her that pretty quickly we had more requests than
Space?
dates.
Yeah.
So that was really a very luxe position. But I remember I saw like a few months ago an email from her to me saying that it was, I think, for 1,300 euros something, that she was almost crying. No, this is too much. It's like we cannot ask this to the promoter. Do it for less money. So she was very, very. She didn't want to grow that fast. It went too fast for her. You know, like we planned a 5-year plan, and it all happened in 1 year. For example, what we want to reach in 5 years, which was really scary both for her and for me, because it's better in any business that you grow slowly and learn the process and see how it goes.
I need to speak about no. I want to speak with you about the pandemic, and I have a lot of questions, but I want to see like how it was for you. Are you ready? Because I did not believe it was something. Like on the beginning, I did say, oh, this is 1 week. It's not going to be nothing. But how was for you?
Yeah, it was the same actually. It was in the beginning, I was super happy. I was like, oh, maybe like a few months off. I was super busy back then. And I thought, oh, now I can chill for 2 months and then we can go back to business. This was my feeling actually. But pretty soon, after 3-4 weeks of lockdown, I immediately get the feeling this is going to be a long time before we go back. I sense that from the 3rd, 4th week, I think. And then the reality kicks in. And that was really, really hard because Yeah, first of all, I love my job. I love my business, and if they take your passion away, that's the one of the worst things that can happen to you. And I'm not talking about financial, because this was my last concern. Um, I always had the feeling that money comes, money goes. I don't care. If I can feed myself and my family, that's only the only thing I need. But my passion is the most important thing in life. I get like I, I'm happy if I can do my job. And this was really hard for me, like the last 15 months. Like it was the first 6 months only speaking with frustrating promoters, canceling events.
I cannot imagine that the technical side of the money refunds must be handling, not knowing is going to open, is not
It was
going
a
to open,
disaster.
booking.
We canceled 640 shows in our agency. We rescheduled the same show 4 times, contracting again, invoicing again, setting credit notes, canceling again, the same process again. And after 4 times, I was like, guys, you know what? You don't have to pay me. We just put an option, and we will do the job if you're 100% sure, because I couldn't do it anymore, and I also can't ask my team to do it again. Like it's so frustrating to confirm a show and then hear a few months before that it got canceled again. And I also didn't send any information to the artist anymore when a request come in. I just put an option, and we will see. Because it's so disappointing when you think, oh, now it's gonna open. Oh no, it's not gonna open. So yeah, that was a lot of work. Thank God we managed to refund all the promoters in the world, give them the money back, or at least keep the money for the next show. And what I understood from all my colleagues did almost the same. And that for me was the feeling that we have a beautiful industry. Nobody is greedy. Everyone wants to help each other in these difficult times. This is how it should be. So I'm super happy.
It did affect a lot of artists. And my next question is 2 questions. One, how your artists handle this? Because I can imagine then a person, like I have 6 kids. If I'm alone for 2 days, the first 24 hours is amazing. After I start stressing out because I'm used to have a certain level of intensity around me. I imagine then your artists have been, I don't know how they manage, or they enjoy, or I think all of us, we had a lot of frustration. My second question is, what is the future for the industry? Is going to be the small acts? Is going to DJs to bring their fees down? Is going to recover? It's 2 different questions, but how you see it?
Yeah, first of all, the artists had the same feeling as us in the beginning. They thought like, oh, we have a 2 months holiday. We don't have to travel anymore. Nice. Let's stay home for a few months. But when the reality kicks in, especially the smaller acts who have no big financial savings, they were panicking a bit, which is very normal because, yeah, at the end, this is your only source of income. It made me also think about the future of our artists. Maybe we should really think, beside your successful career, to also opening up other businesses on the side, just to be sure. I hope this will never happen again, of course, but you never know. It's always good to have other businesses. Also for myself, I realized I had 4 companies all in the same sector, and then you suddenly have nothing anymore with 4 companies. So yeah, for the bigger profiles who had some savings, of course. I think the financial part was not that very difficult, but only the part that they can't work anymore. But for the smaller exits, it was really, really hard. Because imagine yourself, you're building your career to a certain point, and then suddenly you're climbing the ladder to the success, and then suddenly it stopped for 15, 16 months. Will the people remember you after 16 months? Will the people think, are you on the same level after 16 months? This is all a question mark that we don't have an answer yet. And for them is even the worst part is we left the scene with a full scheduled year for all well-known names. All these shows that got cancelled have to be rescheduled. Does this means that you have another year after the pandemic with only rescheduled shows that only artists play that used to play before the pandemic? So all the artists who don't have gigs, they have to wait another year to maybe get on these festivals after the pandemic. So that's for them. It's the hardest part, I think, because for the bigger artists, they just start where they left the scene. It's pretty easy actually. But for the small,
do you think the scene was very affected? For example, I saw on techno productions, like many people, a few things. One, deciding to not release or release during the pandemic. That is an important thing. Another thing is the sounds change. Even the people used to produce more hard sound, I found them go more kind of, I found a shift. And I don't know what is your opinion. I'm always giving you three questions together. I don't know what is your opinion about live streaming.
I have a very mixed feeling about it. I think it was good to really survive this period. But after a few months, I couldn't see it anymore. Like it was too much, and you will never be able to create the same experience with the live stream as, for example, Tomorrowland did an amazing job. Like it was almost real. But still, it's you're not there. You're not experiencing the same thing. You're not gonna meet your future partner. You're not gonna. At Extrema, for example, every year we get mails about couples who met each other at Extrema. They have kids.
Do you
now.
do weddings?
Yeah,
you should start doing weddings.
Yeah,
Electric Daisy does weddings, so
yeah, it's amazing. But if you see this mail, then you think like, wow, like these two people meet on our festival, and now they live together, they have kids. It's amazing, you know that. And this is the reason why events are so important, and this is also the reason why I was so angry when all governments said to us at one point, "You're not non-essential." What do you mean we are not non-essential? Like, who are you to think that we are non-essential? Like, we are super essential. I totally understand that we are non-essential if in the beginning of the pandemic. But while we are ending, I think we are super. I think one of the most essential things at the moment. Like people are so eager to meet each other again and to have fun again, and yeah, our industry can provide this, and so I'm super happy that a few countries finally get this now, and we see things are opening up slowly. Yeah, I can't wait to really go out again myself, and also organizing for people.
Tell me, what is your dream? Like, I had a question for the beginning where I did want to leave for the end. When Amelie said to you she did want to be the number one, it's a very difficult goal on the sense, not her to be the number one, but how you define you arrive there. How you say, okay, now I'm the number one.
Well, there is never an end. Like I think we don't consider ourselves as number one. This is just a number. But if you're in my feeling as an agent, you have 20 to 25 headliners in the world who are really, really important, who everyone wants. And you have to be one of the 25. That's and nobody's number one. Like it's the number one for me is not the number one for you. But it's super important to be on top of mind of every promoter in the world. That's what you want to reach. But the most hardest part is to stay there for a long time.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of. I saw a lot of one-day flies in my career who were headliner for 1 year, 2 years, and then you never heard of them anymore. So that's the hardest part, I think, in any kind of business or sports or whatever, to stay there for a long time, 15 to 20 years. That's why I admire so many DJs like Carl Cox, Sven Veit, Richie Houghton. They are there for so many years and they stayed relevant for so many years, which is so hard and it looks so easy from the outside, but it's super, super hard. And that's why I really admire them. And I really hope that we can reach the same with our artists.
Do you think we are going to get very affected? Then the industry will change a lot for the future, or people are going to be ready, crazy to rave?
No, I think that there's not much. There will be not much changing. I think it will only be better and nicer because people are so eager to go out. We did some surveys for our festivals about people, how they think, if they are scared to come back. But we have 99%. They say like, hey, tomorrow, if you announce tomorrow, we are there.
I'm packing. I'm packing already.
Yeah. And also from the DJ side, everyone is ready. So I think it also for the club scene, I think they will get a really, really big boost. I think the clubs were really suffering around the world before the pandemic. It was hard to fill your club.
I saw you doing a ceremony in your club, kind of not the best one. What was? Did you close Labyrinth? What can you tell me? What?
Well, I was slowing down because after I got my second kid, I didn't want to do this on a weekly basis anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard to stay in a club all night without alcohol or stay healthy. If you go there, you mostly get fucked up, and I didn't want that anymore. So we end up doing it once a month, and then I told my partner, like, the other days you can do whatever you want. I keep just Labyrinth for once a month and book some DJs. Beside that, we do some bigger events 4 times a year in big warehouses, and that's for me enough at the moment. But now, of course, after being 15 months at home, maybe I will do it 1 year for more often.
And 7 days a week.
Exactly. And I also think that was my point, that a lot of clubs will have like a beautiful year financially, I think, when we open up, because even if you book your neighbor, it will be packed. You know, it's like everyone wants to go out, and I'm super happy for them because it's been a while that the clubs are full for 1 full year. You know,
the club industry did. I have one question from one of my influence warriors, and they asked me, what is the country then book more artists from you? So what is the South America, is Europe? What is the places, or 1 or 2 countries that are like the top of bookings for your artists?
Oh, this is hard because we get like, if you talk about Amelie, we get like a lot of requests for every country in the world, like every Pakistan or whatever, you know, like it's great. But for other artists, of course, who are not playing that much as certain countries, they are stronger than other countries. But I think for Amelie, really strong. Yeah, the regular big Italy is amazing. Like it's so strong. She has such a strong fan base there. UK, it's also a very important market. Holland, and these are also, by the same time, in my opinion, if you build a career, the most important countries. If you're relevant in UK, Holland, Italy, and Belgium, then the rest will come for sure. Make sure that you're relevant there, and then
That is a great tip. That is a great tip.
It's everyone is looking what's going on over there, and then the rest will follow.
Oh, I have a question for you. What music do you dance?
I'm not really a dancer. I'm more a listener. Even if I am in a club, you will find me in a corner somewhere,
in a corner,
listening to music. But if I go to with my close friends, you can find me on the dance floor. Because then I'm sure that we are in the same vibe. I have friends who knows me. I know them. We can dance for 3-4 hours without saying any word to each other, just listening to music. And what really annoys me, if I go out just to network, like you're talking so much on a night that you don't even have the time to listen to a set. I really like to listen to a full set if I go out, like really listening. But yeah, it's impossible in my own country, it's impossible. That's why I choose a few moments a year that I go with my friends to, for example, Berlin or whatever, and we go to a club. Nobody knows you, nobody cares about you, and that's amazing for me. Like you don't have to talk to anyone, just listen to music.
You are undercover.
Yeah, amazing.
Do you think artists, and this is one of my last questions, and I will leave you alone. Do you think the artist online, this presence online, should just talk about music, or should talk about things that are relevant for them? I'm saying this, I have a very strong opinion on this. And I think, for example, in Emily, you can see then she do slightly what I believe needs to be done. But I ask you, do you feel then it's important to tell other sides of you and show other sides of you to be relevant online and to connect with fans, or you just should be dark and artwork and music?
Well, it's everyone's own choice, of course, but I also know profiles who does very well with only dark side and only music. But I think if you have a big fan base, you're a bit responsible also to tell about yourself and about your life. When I used to go to rock festivals, I was a big Depeche Mode fan, and if I could read an article about them or an interview, I was super excited. Like, hey, what's behind it? Who are they? What they are doing in normal life? What's their way they look to the world, like these kind of things is also very interesting to know as a fan beside the music. So I really think that these days it's super important to be in touch with your fans at least, and tell you about yourself, and so they know who you are. But again, this have to be really pure and from yourself and not prefabricated. It's super important.
Yeah, it's better to not say anything. She's very defensive, or you see constantly her speaking about the vegan movement, how she eats, and she defends a lot of that. And I think that it's one side of her then make people, even if you don't know her for her music or you are a different age. So sometimes you get in contact with artists, then you never saw play it, but because you have someone who said so, I think she does amazing job. If you could, you as well. My idea is, I always had that idea about her. Then she's very gold mind. She's a hard work person, and she's an amazing artist. And then you guys, teamwork, like my daughter say, teamwork is the dream work. So I think you guys had probably the same vibe, and you know what you want, you go, you get it. If you could give advice to yourself 20 years ago, what did you say to you?
I would say the same thing that I'm thinking all my life actually. Like, first of all, never give up. Uh, um, I had some situations that I thought like, am I doing the right thing here? Like I was losing so much money and never be able to make a career. But always in the back of my head, I thought like, hey, I'm gonna make it no matter what, even if it takes like 40 years. This is what I want. I want to be in the music industry. I want to make my living in the music industry, and I want to make people happy. That was my only goal in life. I really enjoy if people are on my events or in front of Emily or whatever. That's not really me making them happy, but it gives your satisfaction that people are super happy. And I would give myself the same advice, like, hey, no matter what you going through by reaching your goal, just keep don't change anything, just follow your dreams and make sure that it's going to happen one day or the other.
Nice. Nice. It's nice. Nice to live without regret and without, it's really, really interesting. Okay. Can you send a message to my influence warriors and why people should watch our talk or listen to our talk?
Oh, well, like, I think it was a very, very interesting conversation with very nice questions from your side. Thank you for that. And I think it's super nice to hear, especially for maybe young people who wants to join the industry after a very, very insecure period. Our industry is still beautiful. It will always be beautiful. And no matter which pandemic or whatever happens, don't hesitate to join us and be creative and make a nice future altogether.
Yes. Thank you. I wish I could have you, but you are too far away.
Next time.
Next time. It was so nice.